And thanks very much for bringing us that update. Let's bring in our guest for the day then. Unmesh Sharma from HDFC Securities joins us now to discuss market fundamentals and his top sectoral picks. Unmesh, thanks very much for being here. In your report, you say that markets are nearing the bottom. It's tough to say where exactly the bottom is, but if you could, where would you hedge your bet? I mean, how far away from the bottom are we? And when you say valuations still attractive, unattractive, they elevated for the mid and small cap index, where should investors hunt for opportunities, say in the next 6 to 12 months, with the wider uncertainty that is still looming on what happens to the fate of West Asia?
No, thank you. I think a very pertinent question. The way to look at it is that if you look at the long-term history, and when we say long-term history, we don't mean just the last 10 years, but if you look at the last 25 years of history, what you will find is that the long-term average PE is somewhere in the region of 16, 17 times or so. Generally what we have found is that India has always, and the second aspect is the premium to the emerging market index. Now both of these have peaked in 2023-24. What we have started to see is the fact that there have been only 4 points in time in the last 22, 23 years where we've had valuations relative to historical means as well as relative to the emerging market average being at these levels. There was 2008 after the crisis, there was the 2013 currency crisis, there was IL&FS crisis, and then there was COVID, right? So if you put that into context, this feels like that at least on the perspective of valuation, things have started to look good. What we started to notice is that a lot of our clients, both FPIs and domestic, have started to look at the markets. Now the question here becomes whether we will get a V-shaped recovery or not, because somehow what we've noticed is that because a lot of investors are basically have seen only the last 2 crises, maybe just the last one, which was in COVID, is that there is an expectation that there will be a V-shaped recovery. But given the prolonged nature of the war in the Middle East and the disruption to oil, which obviously plays through to currency, it plays through to deficits, it plays through to the inflation, and hence, the growth outlook as well. You put all that into context, it feels like while from a valuation perspective, we do not expect a dislocation down because this is a man-made crisis. And at the same point in time, from a long-term perspective, this may be the time that you should start biting into the market.
I see. Unmesh, interestingly, you're saying that the valuations are more reasonable now, and you're saying from your conversation with your clients as well, it looks like some foreign, investor interest may be returning, or will it take more? Will it take better earnings growth? You're already factoring in double-digit earning growth. What more will it take?
Yeah, so look, so I'll break that into 2 parts because there are 2 elements to the question. One is as far as the valuations, the earnings growth is concerned, for our coverage universe of 270 stocks, or if you look at even what is there in the Nifty, before the quarterly preview started to come off, in FY27, there was an expectation that growth will be in the high teens. We have already seen anecdotally 3-4% kind of cuts coming through. We believe that as the commentary comes through, nobody really updates their earnings in real time. They do it on triggers. We believe that through the earnings season, as people understand the commentary and what has happened to, earnings in first quarter as well as what happens in FY27, it feels like we will land up in the zone of 10 to 12% growth for the year. So there is a bit of earnings downward which is supposed to come through. Okay, so that is one. Of course, when I say valuations are reasonable, I'm also expecting some earnings cuts to come through. So even in that context, it looks interesting. The first movers typically in this type of environment would be the liquidity which is trapped within the country. So it has to be the domestic mutual funds, institutions, and the domestic retail which will come first. And we believe that on that one, we are already starting to see formation of a barbell strategy, where on one end, people are using this opportunity to clean up their portfolios, move into high quality. So a large part of it has moved to lower quality to higher quality, where there's general large cap bias which has started to happen. And on the other end, there is a small part of the other end of the barbell, which is where we are looking at what HDFC Securities calls a bounce back basket. Okay, so basically look at OMCs, look at a little bit of the airlines, look at a little bit of travel, because eventually we believe that all of this dust is going to settle. So if you are not fast enough and you don't go early enough, you'll miss the rally if you wait for the evidence. So from a domestic perspective, we believe that it will start to happen now. As far as FPIs are concerned, given the concerns on the currency, I think that people will wait for stabilization to happen before they jump in. So that could be maybe a couple of quarters away.
Unmesh, you highlighted that you are positive on industrials, infrastructure, autos and real estate. Now, the real estate has been one segment that has been battered significantly due to this, more often due to the second order impact of the war that has been ongoing. But there are also concerns that the cycle may have started to plateau out and this might just well be the peak of the cycle. Do you contradict that, or do you believe that there is still more steam left for this real estate cycle to play out? And within this space, what are you betting on? Is commercial real estate, residential, premium housing? What's your call here?
Okay, so look, I used to be a real estate analyst, so I can tell you, unfortunately, there is no broader answer that we can give. Is the real estate cycle kind of plateauing? I think if you look at it on an aggregate basis across the country, that may be true. The way to play real estate anyway, given the size of our country, well, and even if not, is that it's a very micro market and project specific kind of approach. So real estate invariably ends up becoming a bottom up play. We believe that there are 2-3 themes where there could be mispricing. The first is that so the real estate cycle, if you look at the core real estate cycle, typically lasts around 2 or 3 stock market cycles. It's that long usually. The first cycle is where the volumes pick up, which has already happened. The second is that once the values start to plateau, for the higher quality names, grade A commercial or the higher quality residential, the pricing starts to inch up. Now, what is interesting is that actually the prices have to inch up very slightly because most of the incremental is EBITDA. So what happens is that you get the next round of upgrades coming from that. I believe that has not played out. So this is at an aggregate level. Now, at a micro market level, there seems to be a little bit of over concern on things like what happens because of AI disruption, will jobs get destroyed. Now on that one, at a macro level, we have taken a call that disruption is not on the anvil. So you will see that in 2 shapes. One is that our view on Bangalore real estate is positive, and the other is that even on the IT sector as a whole with reasonable valuations, we've actually brought our underweight position to neutral. So you put that into perspective. We do like Sobha, which is a big high alpha position in our model portfolio, but that's basically how we are looking at bottom up, where obvious mispricing has happened.
Take that point. Thank you, Unmesh. So you're neutral on the IT sector. That's an upgrade that has come in. Alongside that, you like the real estate space. Sobha being your top pick out there. We'll obviously get you back for a longer conversation on the other parts of the market that you like and you dislike. Meanwhile, before we go into a short break, just pull up the intraday chart of TCS ahead of numbers that stocks move to the high point of trade. Obviously, the management commentary around deal wins, growth, and guidance will be